Hello everyone. Let's get started with the today's topic. As we have covered yesterday, all these tax reporting, what does it mean? The tax reporting major functional utilities. What are the features of the tax reporting? The tax provisioning process. Here also we did what is the process, how we load the data, what are the steps we do it after covering all the tax. Basically, we saw all the tax provision processes. Then we also saw the dimension members, what are the predefined dimension members in TRCS. Basically, if you remember, we have seen all the 13 dimension members which are defined on, as you can see in the screen. And then we saw the functionality by the predefined role. So I'll just start with this. We have already covered. We'll start with this and move on to the further topics. Now basically what we discussed is the roles in this application. They are similar to the other application which are assigned to a particular user. So user maybe can be assigned a viewer role, a user role, power user role, service administrator role. So different function can be performed by different type of users based on their roles that have been assigned to them. These roles, they are hierarchical. So in case a particular person is a viewer or has been assigned the role of a user, then definitely he or she can have the power of a viewer. Or if a particular person has been assigned the role of power user, then the user will have access to all the functionality that a user can perform, and the service administrator can perform all the functions that a viewer, user or power user can perform. So a service administrator can perform all the functions in the application. So the different function that can be performed include: first, viewing data through forms, viewing data through data analytic tools, that is ad hoc grid, smart view, financial reporting forms, etc. Then entering the data through forms, loading the data through data management, submitting the data for approval in the approval unit hierarchy, drill through the source system, consolidation of the business rule, that is running the consolidation rule, creation and maintenance of the form, creation of the smart view worksheet, creation and starting the approval process for the process control unit, performing actions on the process control approval units, performing all the functional activities for the application except create and assigning user role, dimension management, that is managing all the 13 dimensions, member formula management. So the dimension management is the sole responsibility of the service administrator. Member formula is also the sole responsibility of the service administrator, and performing all the functional activities is all solely performed by the service administrator, but he cannot create and assign the user role. This will be performed by main administrator. So there is main administrator and there is service admin. So the main administrator, which is assigned at the time of creation of application, he will be able to assign all these four roles, namely viewer, user, power user and the service admin, to different individuals in the organization. So now we'll see configuring jurisdiction and entities. So it is important in the application that we configure jurisdiction and entity appropriately, so that appropriate tax is calculated region wise as well as at the national domicile level. So the jurisdiction dimension will have to be configured in order to calculate the taxation appropriately for the organization or at the legal entity level. The jurisdiction basically defines the principal place of business for each legal entity. The principal place of business means where the entire business operation of the organization takes place, or where the head office of the organization is located for each legal entity. This dimension is used to define the nation and the regions that are applicable for the tax provision. The national jurisdiction basically will represent federal or country level tax, means it will represent tax at United States level, and regional jurisdiction can represent a state, province, territory, or any other subdivision for the purpose of deductibility. We have to deduct this particular regional tax once it is calculated for the region. Then we are calculating tax at the national level or federal level. Then we have to deduct this tax while calculating national tax. In case we do not deduct it, the tax will be double, or the double taxation will be there at the national level. So regional tax amount can be set up to be automatically flow into the national calculations and can be deducted from the national calculation. Regional tax provision can be calculated individually or in total by legal entity as well. For example, a company is situated in a USA and has multiple places of business which are its principal place of business, such as California, Alabama, etc. So there will be these will all be the regions, and the tax provisions will be calculated region wise for these regions. In case a United State is termed as a national jurisdiction and all the other states are named as regional jurisdiction, there is entire process of configuring and creating these jurisdiction. We have to define their names as per ISO codes. So if you see here, in case a USA is termed as the national jurisdiction and all the other states, they are termed as the regional jurisdiction. Now creating a national jurisdiction and creating a regional jurisdiction, there's an entire process of configuring and creating this jurisdiction. We'll have to define their names as per the ISO codes. We'll keep in mind that the ISO codes are followed in order to configure and create this national as well as regional jurisdiction. We'll see all these in some later sessions. So here it is. While creating a national jurisdiction, open a jurisdiction dimension, open the TRCS all national card, add child under name. Then you have to enter a 2-character name for the jurisdiction such as CS, CA or US. 2-character ISO codes are recommended for the jurisdiction. If more than 2 characters are used for the name such as CAN or USA, the name will not work. Now if you are creating a regional jurisdiction, the parent member of the region should start with 2-letter domicile code and end with underscore regions. For example, assuming that the USA is the domicile, that is national jurisdiction, the parent member will be US underscore region. So whatever country it is, you will use it before underscore regions. Under the parent member, each member should start with 2-letter domicile code followed by the underscore and end with the state name. For example, US underscore AL for Alabama. So start with national and end with regional. Now we'll try to get familiar with the interface of the application so that we can get idea or broad overview about different forms and rules available in the application through which the tax provision are calculated. So this is my home page in the application. Here we have various clusters including task operation, like task operations. Under operations we have overview, compliance and operational dashboards. Then we have the tax provision national cluster. This is very important cluster. Most of the work which will be performed by any user has to go through this particular cluster. The tax provision national and tax provisional regional are my main points whereby I can input the data or I can test the calculation of current tax provision. I can test the calculation of deferred tax provision. I can also automate my tax losses and view the final output as well. So I have various forms in this particular cluster, that is tax provision national. Then we have tax provisional regional also. So these all which are included here are under are national, and under this will be all regional. Under tax provisional national, now you have the package. So I have the entire package. Again, this is very useful from whereby various data forms are put into at one place, whereby I can have entire overview of the tax reporting process at a single place. So this is very important data form for this particular application. Then we have the acquisition form, where we'll input the data for any deferred tax which has been acquired by an entity. Then we have the RTA form, where the adjustment will be input and can be automated as well. Then we have the TAR, that is tax accounts roll forward. This was return to accrual adjustment, as we have seen in our last session. This is tax accounts roll forward, whereby all the tax roll forward tax accounts will be available to us. ETR, that is effective tax rate form. This will provide us entire effective tax rate reports which are prepared on the basis of tax calculation in a particular organization. Now the ETR IFRS, which is the effective tax rate computed as per IFRS. We'll have to enable this feature at the time of creation of application, and we can do this later on as well. Currently it is enabled, that is the reason that this particular form is available. Now the fixed asset. Here we can calculate the deferred taxes for the fixed assets, depreciation which is charged as per the taxation, and the book accounts, that is the IFRS or US GAAP. There is a difference in the tax rate or the policies which are followed for the calculation of depreciation, and because of the difference in the depreciation amount as per the books and as per the tax calculation, there is a deferred tax account and a temporary difference amount is calculated, and then the deferred tax is calculated on that particular tax account. So this particular form is used to input the different balances of the fixed asset as per the tax rate and as per the IFRS or the financial accounting. Then we have the data status. It shows data status of various entities, whether the data status is impacted and what is the exact status of the current entity on which we are working. There are other forms available as well other than the current tax provision, RTA, TAR, through which we can create forms that we desire for, or organization require us to create any custom forms as well. Now you have the tax provisional regional. We have the package regional, acquisition regional, RTA regional, TAR regional, ETR regional, and we have forms as well. Nothing different. It will have the jurisdiction dimension defined as the regional jurisdiction, and tax provisional national will have the jurisdiction dimension defined as national jurisdiction. So the only difference is these are classified as national jurisdiction and regional will be classified as regional jurisdiction. Now you have the interim provision. As discussed, we have the interim provision form whereby we can calculate the tax in the quarterly, monthly, and even the half yearly format for the purpose of interim reporting in an organization. We can create interim provision, and we can use the annualized effective estimated effective tax rate and as well. So we can get a tax rate which is estimated to the annualized tax rate, and we can calculate the interim provision as well. Now we have the total tax. This will be overview of the total tax of an organization through dashboards and infolets. So like you can see, consolidated ETR under total tax by utility, by entity, by jurisdiction, cash tax by entity, and cash tax by jurisdiction. Now you have the CBCR. Under this we have data entry form, summary filing, risk assessment, and the data status form. So data entry, summary, filing, and risk assessment, and the data status. So the CBCR will be automated from the book data that we load through the trial balance, and automate the different accounts for which the data is required for the CBCR process, and then that particular data can be used to create the CBCR reports and the CBCR filing as well. So various tax related data is also required to be input into this particular option, that is CBCR feature, and that can be input through the data entry card. Now the next is approval, where approval units can be assigned, created, and then they can be managed as well. So in case we want to create any approval unit for our entity, we can create the approval unit here, and we can assign the different approval groups as well, and then we can complete the entire approval process. The next cluster is library. This will include the entire forms that are available in the application, the entire dashboard which are created in the application, the entire infolet, supplemental data, task manager report. So the entire collection of forms, reports, dashboards, and the other artifacts as well, they are also included in this particular library card. So this is my library for all the artifacts in the application. So you can see here the forms, dashboards, reports, financial reports, task manager reports, supplemental data reports, intercompany reports, documents, infolets, operational dashboards, etc. Now under application, we have the overview card, and the consolidation, whereby we can view the entire ownership structure for all the organization in my entity hierarchy. My parent and child hierarchy can be seen through this particular feature as well, and I can assign different ownership percentage through this particular feature. Then there are on-demand rule. So this can be created as well, and there are a lot of predefined on-demand rule in the application. Some of them include consolidation, translation rule, tax automation calculation rule, the compute rate rule, etc. So these can be launched from this particular card, and we can go to the rules card and we can launch different rules which we want to run in the application. Task manager, so we can create the different task or the users, we can assign task to the users, and then we can perform the close process through this application. We'll also link it by making connection with the FCCS. Supplemental, then we have the supplemental data card. So in case there are any additional information which is required to be input, or any non-financial information which is required to be created for the purpose of tax reporting or for the purpose of disclosure as well, we can use this feature. Then the setting, this will have the normal settings. Configuration, this is very important. This is the card through which we can create the different tax automation rules, the different CBCR automation rules, RTA automation rules, input tax rates, etc. So this is my backend. So I have to create the configuration for the tax calculation from here. So I'll have to go to the configuration and then define the automation rules. And once I have defined the automation rules, then we go to the tax provision national package, and I can run the business rule of the consolidation and then can simply view the tax provision calculation and other calculations as well. So this is my backend of tax automation configuration process, and we'll look into the configuration one by one in the upcoming sessions. There are various configurations and all are very important in order to smoothly calculate or run the entire tax process. Now the next is valid intersection card. We can define valid intersection. It will include the point of view, that is at particular point we can view the data, or set particular point of view as invalid point of view, so that data cannot be input at that particular invalid point of view. Now the next is data exchange. It is the data management feature which is available in the application. We can access it from different tool as well, and we can access it from application interface as well. Now the next is job. It will show us all the jobs or business rules that we have run, or any data load that we have performed, or any other process that is performed in the application. It can be checked through jobs, and we can also schedule certain jobs at that so that some of the features get automated, like data load job, metadata, run business rule, etc. These all can be scheduled through this. Now the next is cell level security. This is the part of security feature in the application. We can assign cell level security so that particular cell or a particular intersection is not accessible to a particular user or power user. The next is services and supplemental task reports. These will help to create the report or task manager process or the close process that I have created, and also it will help me to create custom reports for the supplemental task process or the supplemental data which has been loaded in the application. Now the next cluster which is there is tools. So the tools generally include the processes which are there at the back end of the application. So like it is variable. The variable can also be assigned, namely substitution variable, which will help me to sort or make any changes in the normal process, a default process that is run by the application. I can assign certain variable and I can substitute those process by using the substitution variable. The next form is, the next card is announcement. There are certain announcements which are frequently published by the Oracle, so these can be accessed from here. Then it is access control. From here we can assign different kind of roles to the users, mainly a user, a viewer role, power user role, the service admin role. The next card is navigation flow. Basically, it will help us to create navigation flows in the application. Then the connection is there. It will help us to create different connections to the cloud application like FCCS, PBCS, EPBCS, ARCS, and etc. and so on. The next is audit. It will help me to get the trial of all the changes or any activity which has taken place in the application. We can track it through audit feature. We can track the task manager changes which are performed by the user to which the task is assigned. We can also use the audit for any other changes or processes which is performed by any other user in the application. The next is migration. It will help me to take the backup of the application. The application in which I have made some changes, say I have made some changes in metadata or added some data. Now I want to take backup of this application, so I will have to go to the migration and then take the backup. Then there are some other features available as well, like Academy. It will include some tutorial videos of particular topic or particular new features which have been added in the application. Yeah, so basically this was an overview of the home page and an overview of the tax reporting process, where you have seen some clusters and the available features and the cards which are available under that particular cluster. So we'll see all these things in detail, and we'll start creating new application in our next session, and understanding the dimension members and the preceded members which are created in the application. We'll understand them, and then we'll proceed with our next topics from the next upcoming sessions. So thank you all for your time. We'll connect again. Thank you so much.